Oh my god. Oh man, yeah. You got to remember this stuff, dude. You got to remember to hit record. Okay, the most basic of things. All right. Yeah.
Sorry,
All
sorry.
right, again. We'll do this again. We'll do it live. Hello and welcome to the Anti Shuffle Podcast, your weekly rock and metal podcast, coming at you from Saudi, where we cover the local and international news. I am one of your co-hosts, Abdullah, also known as Muzaj, and the other co-host, Mansour.
Hello.
So today we have so much stuff to talk about, Mansour. We need to move through this a little bit quick. So in terms of news, we're going to be talking about a lot of news coming out of Live Nation, a lot of news coming out of King Gizzard and Lizard Wizard, some local news. We're going to also talk about one of your favorite bands, Sleep Token. And then, in terms of reviews and music, what do we have today?
Yeah, we've got new music from Smashing Pumpkins, Drain, Queens of the Stone Age, Creeping Death, a bunch of bands from the region.
Yeah,
Kaoteon, I think that's how you pronounce it. I hope
I guess
that's
we'll
how you
figure that
pronounce
out
it.
together.
Amorosa, Pupil Slicer, uh,
Nice.
you know, a bunch of others. So stick around.
Yeah, and then we have a
Give
main
them.
topic that's pretty interesting as well. We're going to talk about AI, a
Mm,
buzzword, AI, and okay, what do we think? I mean, again, this is just our opinion. We're going to be talking about it, discussing it a little bit casually. The effect of AI on the music industry, and how we feel about it personally, as well as someone who's is a budding, sound engineer and who loves mixing and production work, and also making music as well. And both of us are musicians, and been in
yeah.
I'm in a solo artist, and you're in a band, so we'll talk a little bit about that, talk about how we feel about it, and give our opinions and thoughts, I guess.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
yeah, dude, we have so much. So let's just the news. All right, Mansour, you shared this with us. So what's going on here, dude?
Well, apparently, Live Nation, the ticketing and concert giant, is has posted a record of 3.1 billion in revenues last the first quarter of 2023 apparently, which
Holy
is
moly!
up 73% from last year.
Yeah,
The industry took a hit, due to COVID. We've seen bands cancel tours here and there, and it really affected uh, the industry. So it's nice to see that the industry is recovering, and concerts are coming back. Touring is coming back. But yeah, this is good news,
yeah.
and they said that in that period, over 19 million people attended events across 45 countries in the last quarter alone. All of Live Nation's markets are fully open now. So
Yeah.
great news. Great news.
Yeah, it seems like, I mean, reading this headline just tells me that people were hungry and I guess really wanted to go back to concerts and watch their favorite bands play live, I guess.
Yeah.
Regardless of whatever you think of Live Nation and their practices and the controversy around it, it's just great to hear that, people are going back to watch their favorite bands live, and they want to go have fun.
Yeah, and bands need to tour. That's their main bread and butter.
Oh,
So
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So yeah, great piece of news, positive piece of news here. The next piece of news is something that I'm pretty excited about. Actually, I'm a big fan of this band. They're pretty prolific. I mean, they release albums like no other. Like they just keep constantly releasing albums. They write so much music and they put it out. I was pretty happy to hear that they're putting out another album, and because
Mhm.
every record they release is actually really enjoyable and great to listen to, and with interesting concepts. Like some records they release and they're like, yeah, we used like these particular keys and tones, scales in this music, and you can hear like their kind of experimental approach to writing music. And I'm actually interested in this one. I mean, because they say here it's going to be heavy as F, So I'm interested to hear what a heavy King Gizzard album is going to sound like.
I like the title of the album. It's Petro Dragonic Apocalypse. That's such a cool title, man.
It's a cool title and a cool name as well. King Gizzard and Lizard Wizard. Try to say that 5 times in a row.
I can't
Uh,
wait. I can't wait.
and yeah, looking forward to it. Next piece of news here, pretty sad one. I don't know how you feel about Sum 41, but man, that was like one of the early one of my early exposure to kind of like I guess pop punk and that kind of genre. All killer no filler is one of my favorite albums of all time for sure. Um, I mean, it's not like I was really listening to Sum 41 and like paying attention to what they've been doing in the past couple of years or whatever, but just hearing that they are breaking up now after 27 years, just first of all making me realize how old I am, and second of
Yeah, yeah.
all, it's just sad news. It's whatever. It's not something to be happy about, I guess.
If you had asked me 20 years ago, I would have been over the moon over this news, but I kind of feel sad now. Honestly, I feel sad because when I look back at it, I mean, some 41. I'm not into pop punk, to be honest. I mean, some of it is okay, but some 41 have this element of humor to it, to their
Yeah.
music, to their image, which I appreciate. But also, they always paid homage to metal. They're I think metalheads as well. So I really appreciate that about them, and I would go see them live now. Actually, if they,
Well, I mean, you're not gonna have a chance to because they're
I'm
breaking
not
up.
gonna have a chance.
too,
Yeah,
too late for that, buddy. But
I
one of the
missed that
things
boat. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean the thing that so you it's interesting that you mentioned their metal influence because uh, you know it's reported that the main reason for that metal kind of homage and influence that they had is their guitarist
yeah,
Dave Beksh. And the one thing that I will mention as well before we move on from this news is that Sum 41 is as Wahid Arabi, okay, as an Arab, uh, watching, who used to be into like whatever Western music and watched Western music and rock and whatever. It was really cool for me to see a brown person in a metal band or in a rock band or in a popular band going on TV, and it was like one of the first times I'm seeing like someone who's almost their kind of I guess ethnicity and skin color is kind of close to ours. And I mean, at the end of the day, I think he's of Indian origin, and India is like our neighbor, and obviously in our community here there's a lot of people from that come from that country. So it was really interesting and really cool to see that, because at that point, all the movies that we've consumed, all the TV shows that I've consumed, all of the music that I've consumed was all just white people. So it was really cool seeing that, and he played a big role in that, having that metal influence and thrash influence in their music. So that's one of the things as well that played a key role in my music upbringing as well. So yeah, saddened to see that they are breaking up, or
indeed.
not breaking up. They're I guess ending their career after 27 years. Khalas, they're tired, dude. They just want to take a break, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Moving on, I think did you did you watch? This is a pretty funny piece of news. I thought I thought you'd get a kick out of this one. It's so inconsequential. It's so stupid, but I just had to talk about it because last time we talked about Sleep Token in our first episode, the pilot.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, there's a video going around of Sleep Token performing live, and like in one of their like softer, slow, very touching moments in their song, someone, I highly, first of all, I highly doubt that this was an actual fart, because it was way too loud, unless someone had a really bad burrito or like a zabadi muffin or something. But someone ripped a huge fart during during their live performance, and everybody heard it.
Oh
Um,
God.
and it was kind of, I don't know. It's funny, but at the same time, I was like, oh man, I bet they don't really feel good about that one.
Hate to be standing next to that guy during the gig.
Yeah, I'd hate to be standing in that next to the guy that ripped it. Oh
Oh
well.
God. That's
Anyways,
torture for everyone.
it's oh well. Next piece of news here that it's one of those things as well that kind of brings you back.
Mhm.
So Fear Factory are like working on releasing like a new album. They got like a new vocalist, so it's good to hear that they're back and back at it and putting out the last song they put out was really cool and interesting. And I've always been of the opinion that Fear Factory, while they're very well known and popular and everybody, I guess people in the metal community knows them, but they're one of those bands that like kind of not a lot of people mention them when they talk about the influence or people who've influenced modern metal. And
Yeah,
they've always been at the forefront of using like you know digital sounds and implementing a lot of like that industrial tone and modern tones into the music, using samples and things like that are now industry standard. So this piece of news kind of, first of all, they played it's related to a song that one of my early favorite songs of Fear Factory, Edge Crusher, but it includes also like a band or a name that I haven't heard in a while, Il Nino or Il
hmm
Nino. I don't know how you say it, but Il Nino.
El Nino.
Yeah, one of the also like new metal bands from from my upbringing, uh, performing live together. So a bit, again, one of those like weird surreal moments. Very interesting. I don't know. Have you been? Did you listen to Il Nino when they first came out?
No, not really. At the time, I had moved on from the
New
new
metal.
metal genre, but the singer is good. I mean, I think he has a great voice. But Fear Factory, I'm a big fan of Fear Factory. I mean, I was pretty sad when Burton left. But the new singer seems to be good. I'm just wondering for the new album, who will write the lyrics, because Burton Siebel always was the main lyricist. And Fear Factory has this concept of man versus machine. uh, it was prevalent in all albums, which is relevant to our topic for later today, actually. But
Yeah.
um, I don't know. I'm a bit skeptical at this point when it comes to Fear Factory. I mean, the singer seems to be good. The new singer seems to be doing a good job.
I think he's doing way too good of a job. Actually, he sounds exactly like the previous vocalist. And when I first heard the new song, I was like, "Oh yeah, okay, Fear Factory." But then I read the news that they had replaced the original vocalist, and I was like, "Wow, he did a pretty good job of sounding, fitting into that Fear Factory sound."
Yeah,
So, anyways, if you're someone who's as old as us and you want to reminisce about El Nino and old music, old metal music, I guess you can watch this video. I'm definitely gonna go back and listen to that the first El Nino record, because that was one of my favorite new metal records. But
yeah.
everything after that, I didn't really pay attention to.
Hmm.
But yeah, sometimes it's nice to reminisce about old new metal songs. Next news here, we have news coming out of Egypt. So a band called Bovim, a kind of death metal, black metal band. I'm not very familiar with the Egyptian metal scene, but it seems like it's booming. And in any case, so Bovim, just like this band here, just teased that they're going to be releasing a new song. And yeah, just I guess go follow them, pay attention to them, keep up with them, and keep up with the news, so that when they drop the latest single,
Yeah,
you can hear it.
awesome.
Next piece of news here, and I was pretty excited about this, and we're gonna talk about they released this single, and I heard it. We're gonna, I guess, talk about the single in a little bit, but yeah, why don't you tell us, Mansour, what is this?
So, Queens of the Stone Age, legendary band, are going to release a new album this year, titled "In Times New Roman." I think a reference to the famous font on
Yeah,
Microsoft Word. But it's exciting. It's always exciting when Queens of the Stone Age releases a new album. They seem to take their time now when it comes to releasing new albums for
yeah,
whatever reason. I mean, I know Josh Homme is always involved with other projects on the side. He's always working
yeah.
with different musicians, but obviously Queens is his baby. So yeah, I mean, I'm super excited about it. I'm a big fan. It seems to be self-produced according to the article. I'm not too big on the artwork, but whatever, it's not a big deal. But Yeah,
Yeah.
this looks really really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I love Queens of the Stone Age. They have some really, really good records. Um, I don't know, Villains. I heard it. I remember hearing it. There are a couple of good songs there.
Yeah,
Anyways, we're gonna give our thoughts about the latest single as well in the music segment. So I'll just hold it for that. But yeah, it's still exciting news. I really like Queens of the Stone Age, and I always look forward to their whenever they release a new record. So that's really cool. Anyways, next piece of news. A bit of local news here, and again, we're talking about Heavy Arabia and the Dusk tour. We just actually, Mansour and I just attended the Jeddah leg of this tour
hmm
yesterday at Makan, and it was pretty cool. Wasted Land performed, but really, like, what really stood out is Dusk's performance. And man, Abzi's a good front man, dude. He's a great vocalist and a great front man. Dusk as a project or as a band, I guess, he's a solo artist, but like, the band that he put together to perform with him are very strong, uh, good showmanship, and just a great performance. They got everybody, first of all, it was well attended as well. A lot of
yeah,
people were there, and
absolutely.
people were really happy. They were asking them to play more songs, and they put on a really good show. So good for them. And for that reason, one of the things I'm excited about is their Riyadh tour. They just announced that two bands are going to be supporting them that I'm really excited about, and I would really like to go and attend this show and see them. Hell Unite and Shamal. So Hell Unite is uh, the way I would love to describe them is they're just like a straight up thrash, like, and straight up thrash band. And if you just really like to listen to something heavy and just gives you a kick in the face, just to go. They have a live record, I think, that's out on Spotify, and you can watch a couple of YouTube videos of them that are pretty well produced, and you can really hear them clearly. And Shamal released a single recently. Great kind of slow, maybe I guess sludgier sounding, methodical sounding metal. Something that I'm really into, and the records and the song sounds really great. So, really looking forward to seeing those two bands live supporting Dusk.
Yeah, they put on a good show last night. I had a lot of fun, honestly. Absi definitely was, had a great stage presence. Really got the crowd excited. It was just a fun night, and also shout out to Wasted Land. They put on a good, fantastic show as well. So awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah, and also I'll just quickly add to this, because I'm such a huge fan of this band. So there's also a leg of this tour, I guess, or a part of this tour that's going to be taking place on the 26th of May in Bahrain, and it's going to include Rith. Um, Unfortunately, Metal Militia and the Rolahal, I think that's how you say the name of the band. I'm not familiar
Mm.
too much with their work. I need to go maybe listen to them a little bit, or see if I can find anything for them on Spotify. But Rith is, by far my favorite local band, and they're going to be performing live their album, Deceptor Creator, or celebrating the release of that album, Deceptor Creator. Um, Such a good record. I encourage everybody to go listen to it. If you're in Bahrain, or can go to Bahrain for this show, highly encourage you to go there as well. I would love to go catch it. Hopefully I can. I don't know if I can, but yeah, Rith, incredible local band. Go check them out. All right, next piece of news. So apparently, Phoebe Bridgers, a pop artist, opens up her shows with the intro of Disturbed's "Down with the Sickness." Um, I don't know if she's a big fan of like metal and rock, but in any case, Disturbed, like, I guess, transcends that. However you feel about metal or rock as a genre, and like everybody's into Disturbed. They're multi-platinum like band. So, and that song is so popular. Um, in any case, she's probably a big fan, but it's also kind of funny. I guess it's a little funny to start off your show with that little sound and intro. But yeah,
That kind of reminded me of Madonna, because Madonna, she sometimes plays the guitar on stage, and I think I saw like a clip of her playing a Pantera song
I
in
didn't
one
see
of her
that.
shows. like a
I didn't know
riff
that.
from, I think it was Walk or some one of those songs.
Yeah, it's an
But
easy riff.
that's because her, it's an easy one. Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't get any credit,
Da-na-na-na.
Madonna. You don't get
Da-na-na-na.
any points for that. But it was actually because Madonna's touring guitarist is Monty Pittman of the band Prong. So
Oh,
he's her guitar teacher. So, or at
what?
the time, yeah, imagine
That's an
that.
insane piece of info or of trivia that I didn't know. That's
Yeah,
fantastic. Prong, really?
yeah, yeah,
Wow, that's really cool.
yeah.
That's a good catch. That's a good catch, Madonna. Anyways, it's pretty funny. Oh man, yeah, dude. We're gonna talk about this album a little bit later, but this piece of news apparently Billy Corgan paid a ransom because some hacker got a hold of his last album or the latest album that they just released, the Smashing Pumpkins Autumn. Autumn.
Mhm.
Adam? Is it Adam or
Autumn,
Autumn? It's Autumn. Yeah,
autumn,
Autumn.
yeah.
Yeah. And apparently, like he paid a ransom to prevent it from leaking. Oh,
Wow,
Billy
Billy.
boy, Billy boy. I would have kept the money, dude. Put it in a nice saving account. Let it, let it grow. You know, make that money work for you, buddy. I don't think you should have paid that ransom. I mean, it's not, listening to the album. Oh
Is
boy,
that
it's not.
still a
It's not
thing,
really
by the
worth
way?
it.
I mean, the
uh,
whole world was waiting for this moment, right? But like,
I don't know.
is
I
that
think
still
there's
a
like
thing?
five fans that were waiting for this moment, and the rest, even the rest, probably the most hardcore of fans of the Smashing Pumpkins were like, "Oh, really? You paid? You paid money for this to prevent this
Man,
from leaking?"
that's insane, man. I mean, that's just crazy.
Yeah, I you can read the whole thing here, but dude, I mean, honestly, in my opinion, it wasn't really worth it paying that ransom to prevent in particular that record as well from leaking. It's
Hmm.
just
I
it
didn't
leaks
know
of a
that
lot
was
of
still a
things.
thing, man.
We're gonna talk about this record a bit later, but it just oh man. Anyways, yeah, let's just save it for the music review segment.
Yeah.
In other news, local news or regional news, a band from Egypt called Amenta. They describe themselves as experimental metal, and you can hear a little preview here and there from this clip if you go on their Instagram. Um, they just revealed that on the 19th they're going to be releasing a single. So that should be interesting. I'm familiar with the bassist of this band. We talk a little bit on Instagram and we follow each other. And he's I mean you can see him here. Like his style of playing is very interesting. He's one of those bassists that go so
Okay.
so yeah, he's very technical and very interesting sounding. So I bet the band also sounds kind of has a similar sound. In any case, interesting. Go follow them on Instagram. Keep a close eye on them as well. Should be an interesting release. And I guess that's it for news, buddy. It's time to move on now to music. All right, starting off with a bang here, Mansoor.
Absolutely. We're gonna
Autumn,
be
Smashing
Autumn from
Pumpkins.
the latest Smashing Pumpkins album that everybody's been waiting for. Apparently,
Oh
it's
my god.
yeah. I mean, it's a triple album from the Smashing Pumpkins. It's a very ambitious album. I mean, it clocks in at like 2 hours and 18 minutes, I think, and it's their latest album. It's like a concept album, apparently, with very autobiographical. Uh, with many themes relating to Billy Corgan's life. Uh, to me, this album overall it didn't do the job for me, unfortunately. I mean, there are some good songs here and there, and I was a bit skeptical coming into it because usually with big works like this, and you're bound to come across some filler songs, right? It's very rare where you have like a double album, that's just great from start to finish. And there are some good albums out there that are good, like to me, Pink Floyd's The Wall, Nine Inch Nails, The Fragile. Those records are awesome from start to finish. But it's always a risk when a band, releases a double album. But this is a triple album, so you know, sometimes it's guys, it's about quality over quantity, and this album really suffers from that. Unfortunately, it suffers from having too many songs unnecessarily, and it feels a bit long-winded if you listen to it all in one go. Um, and musically, look, I'm a big Smashing Pumpkins fan. I love the early
Me too.
stuff. The first couple of albums, I go back to them from time to time and listen to them. Like Siamese Dream, Gish,
Oh yeah.
even Melancholy, which was a double album. Uh, but this one just I don't know. It doesn't remind me of anything that with those albums. And fine. A band has to evolve. A band has to try new things, but musically, I just it feels completely different. I mean, Smashing Pumpkins have always experimented. Let's be honest, but yeah, I was really missing a lot of interesting guitar work from Billy, because this album is very keyboard driven, very synth driven.
Yeah.
Uh, you won't find many uh, guitar based songs, or heavily. There are some metal kind of tunes, but they feel completely out of place with the rest of the album. you
Yeah.
know uh, and I also miss the great drumming from Jimmy Chamberlain, who is a fantastic drummer. But here it seems like a lot of the drums, it sound programmed. You know what I mean?
Right.
um, but there are uh, some good moments, uh, you know but overall I wasn't too happy with it.
Yeah, I don't know. Just listening to this, first of all, like when I saw, like when I went on, whatever, Spotify, and I was like, yeah, all right, let's start listening to this, and I saw that it was like three, uh, it's like a three albums, three CDs, or whatever you want to call it, and it's like in three chapters or whatever it is, and it's like, and then I was like, okay, I gotta read more about this and understand why is it this long, and apparently he wrote it as a rock opera or opera or
Yeah,
whatever, and I just like, as then I started listening to it, and like you said, I started noticing that yeah, it has a lot of heavy synth elements, and obviously, kind of reminisces or kind of harkens back to 80s pop, I guess, maybe a little bit of
hmm,
80s pop, a little bit of synth pop sounding. There were some songs that kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, this gives you the grungy Smashing Pumpkins feel, but then I was just listening to it and I was like, who is this for? Like, this felt like it was a personal Billy Corgan project, and it's just, you know, I don't know. This is how I feel. What I think. It's just, it feels like it's something to feed his ego, and it's just an egotistical like piece of work. Like, and
too indulgent.
who is this for? Who's gonna sit there and listen, or listen to a 2 hour album by Billy Corgan? It just feels like a Billy Corgan project, and I didn't, you know, like you said as well. Like when bands like release these huge kind of albums, records with like songs with like 20, 24 track lists, I just have trouble enjoying it. I'd
Yeah,
rather have like a focused record that just sounds good from doesn't have a lot of filler. It just sounds good. Maybe one or two songs there might not hit the mark, but like in general, all of it feels good and sounds good. So
yeah,
I'm just never gonna go back to this, and really, really disappointed with it as well. Like you said, I'm a big fan of the Smashing Pumpkins. Um, and I just don't understand who this is for. And I don't even think Smashing Pumpkin fans are going to enjoy this, or want to hear this. So I don't know.
yeah. I wonder who the hardcore fans would they be really into this or not.
Yeah.
I mean, I could, the good songs, I can put them all in one sort of EP or album, and it would be pretty good.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. It wouldn't be amazing, but it would be pretty good. I mean, I this there's a song called Space Age, Every Morning. Those two songs were good. The Good and Goodbye,
Yeah.
Embracer. Those are some of the songs that I enjoyed. But other than that, yeah.
Again, very disappointing. Feels like a very ego kind of driven project. Someone should have told Billy, you know what, maybe cut down on a track list, man. But yeah, Autumn. If you're a big fan of Billy Corgan, I guess go listen to it. If not, please skip it.
Yeah, let us know, you guys, what you think about it. I mean, write to us, give us your comments on it. We'd like to hear what you guys have to say.
Yeah, I'd be interested to know if anybody's a fan of Smashing Pumpkins that listen to us.
Yeah.
Next record here, I really thoroughly enjoyed this record, dude.
Ah,
Drain.
man.
Yeah, this is a great, great hardcore record. What did you think of
I
it?
I loved it. I loved it,
Yeah,
man. It was just great from start to finish. The great riffs, the energy of those songs.
such
You
good
know,
energy.
for me, I like a band like Power Trip, and
Yep.
I was really saddened when the singer passed away. I think
Mm.
last year or 2 years ago. So this band, I think, will carry that flag. I hope. And yeah, it's just a great album from start to finish. It's the great riffs. It's a mosh fest from start to finish, uh, with a few surprises here and there.
Yes, yes, yes.
Right? I mean, what did you think of that? There's a hip hop kind
The
of
intermission.
song, the intermission song. Yeah, that was
Yes. That was so
yeah,
good. Like honestly, like the record. So again, it plays it. Okay, it's a hardcore record, right? It plays it straight.
yeah,
Like if you're not someone who's into hardcore, you're probably not going to enjoy this, right? But
yeah,
if you're into hardcore, this is a great record. Like, and even if you're interested and curious about hardcore, this is a great like kind of lesson or a template to listen to get into hardcore. But like you said, there's also a bit of few surprises here and there. So the intermission song, that's so good, like with the little bit of hip hop intro, and then it kicks into like a typical the Drain style of hardcore metal. That was a great one. And then there was one song that was kind of a tonal shift, Good
yeah.
Things. That
Hmm.
that was great as well. Like it goes into like this I don't want to say pop punk, Lynn. It's not really pop punk, but it goes into like a more accessible, catchier kind of hardcore sound. It kind of stops being aggressive and more catchier. And
Yeah,
I love that song as well, that track. So again, it does a good job of keeping you on your toes. You're hearing like different things, but just a great overall hardcore, high energy record. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Highly recommend anybody, even if you're not into hardcore, just give it a listen, and you'll probably find something in there that you will enjoy.
yeah. I mean, my favorite song off that album was "Weight of the World." That has a crazy riff. I
Great song,
just
yeah,
really, it's such a good song. It's a very short listen. I mean,
yeah,
at the end of the album, I found myself wanting to listen to more.
yeah,
And I think it's always a good sign when you listen to an entire album and feel like, no, I need to listen to more. Uh, but do check it
yeah,
out. It's just so
yeah.
good.
Absolutely, yeah. Drain, go check it out. Living Proof, such a great record. Next record here we have, and I have a feeling I'm gonna feel the same way about it as you do.
Hmm.
And I'm not, actually, I don't know. I'm not gonna speak for you, Mansoor. I don't know why I'm speaking for you, but am I gonna bring up the Boomer Scare for this one?
Which album is this?
We're talking about. Oh yeah, sorry for those who are listening, who are tuning in. We're talking about Veil of Maya, a the new record by Veil of Maya. Um, what is it called, Mansoor? Actually, Mother. Is it called Mother?
I think so. I haven't listened to the album. I don't know.
Oh yeah. Oh, so yeah. Okay. So all right. So let's. I'll talk a little bit about this record here. So Veil of Maya just released a new record called Mother, and honestly, I used to be a big fan of Veil of Maya. I really enjoyed some of their earlier records. One of the records that I really enjoyed as well is ID or ID or whatever you want to call it. But this record, um, tonally speaking, overall it sounds good. Okay, in terms of tone and production, for me, it sounds much better, and it is. much better written for me than the latest Periphery song album. But listening to this record, I found it quite boring. It only started really picking up for me, and it started sounding good at a song called "Disco Kill Party." Silly name, but it's an actual, like, when you listen to that song, you start feeling like, oh, okay, this is what the rest. I feel like the kind of record, the rest of the record should have sounded like. Um,
Hmm.
and and then after Disco Kill Party, like, the songs, you know to varying degrees, start sounding good or like average. um and then, it just made me think, maybe this record should have been an EP or something. Maybe, like, from Disco Kill Party to the end of the record, that should have been like just like 4 to 5 EPs, just a more focused effort. And it would have sounded great, and I would have been much happier with it. But although, overall, I'm probably never gonna, go back and listen to this record again. But if they stick with the sound that they, or the kind of song structure and writing that they did in Disco Kill Party, maybe I would be interested to listening to the next record that they release.
The, the artwork sucks.
The artwork is horrible as well, dude. Oh my god,
Oh
it's
God.
yeah, like, nothing about this record I enjoyed, honestly. So I'm just gonna move on now to the next record. Acacia Strain released not just one record, two records. One of them is the main record. Okay, so they released the main record, which is called "Step Into the Light," and it is a fantastic sounding record. It's so good. It's produced by a guy called Randy. I don't, I'm sure I'm going to butcher his last name, Le Boeuf or whatever it is. He did a lot of great productions. One of them is Koble Khan. If you remember from our pilot, I think we talked
Hmm.
about the single they released. And then, also, there's also a great recent record that a band released called Jesus Peace. Great hardcore record. Chamber as well is another band that I'm a big fan of. He also produces records for them, and we're going to talk about one of their singles in a second. But in any case, this is a great sounding record, great hardcore record. It clocks in at like just like 30 minutes or something. Each song is like just 1 minute to 1 minute and 30 seconds to like 2 minutes or something like that. Just a great romp. Like, if you're someone who wants to listen to something high energy and just great sounding, and a great, like, hardcore metal album, or a hardcore with metal influences, I guess. Not your typical metalcore, but it's like a band that mixes those two genres really well. This is a great record to listen to. And if that's not enough for you, and if you wanted more, they released a second record called "Failure Will Follow," and this record is basically, the way they described it, and I believe them. It explores their sludgier side, right? It explores their sludgier kind of influences, and the record only has 3 songs, but each song is like varies from 11 to 17 minutes. And there are standouts in this. I really love this record because first of all, it includes a lot of the bands that I really like Primitive Man and Full of Hell.
Hmm.
Um, the song that really stands out for me is definitely the one that includes Primitive Man. But there is a song that includes a gentleman named Sam Sawyer, or Sawyer. And I really tried my best to find out who is this man and what project is he from, or if he's from another band, but I could not find any information. So if anybody knows, please let me know. But um, you know, the records. I mean, the songs on this record are, very sludgy, doomy. Well, not doom metal, but it's like very sludgy, slower, kind of death metal sounding. And not death metal again. I'm using the wrong terminology here, but just sludgy, slower sounding songs, but still surprise you. Bog Walker, for example, will have, like, in the outro, it has like a great groovy kind of sounding outro. The songs take a little bit of a while to pick up, but if you are patient and you're willing to listen to, sludgy sounding metal that is slower, very methodical as well, the payoff is great, and you will enjoy this.
I'm more interested in the sludgy, I think, album. I will have to give that a listen.
Yeah, you should listen to it. Sounds really good, and the music is so cool as well. So Check them out, Acacia Strain for sure. Both record, Failure Will Follow and Step Into the Light. All right, we have a single here from a local, I mean, regional release. Uh, Kaoteon. I don't know if I'm saying it right. How would you say this, Mansoor?
Kaoteon, maybe, I don't
Kaoteon.
know.
Kaoteon.
Maybe
Kaoteon.
Kaoteon. I don't
Did
know.
you listen to this?
Yeah,
Decrepitude. What did you think?
Decrepitude. Yeah, I mean, interesting melodic tech death metal, maybe. Uh,
Yeah.
very has some symphonic elements and blast beats and things like that. Uh, that was an interesting sort of mix. Good production overall. So yeah, I mean, very guttural and harsh, style of death metal vocals. If Yeah, check it out.
Yeah. If you're into melodic death metal,
Yeah,
and you can't go wrong with Kaoteon. Kaoteon Decrepitude.
yeah.
All right, next song we have here, or next, I guess EP. It's a two-song EP by a local artist here, based out of Saudi. He calls himself TRL. Um, if you look at his discography, you'll find that he does a lot of collaborations with different artists from the local scene, mainly in the hip hop, R&B, and hyper, I guess, pop, or hyper R&B and hip hop kind of sounding music. Um, this is kind of a little bit of a departure for his typical stuff. He sent this over to us to listen to. He described it as a shoegazy kind of EP or sound, and I believe it. Yeah, it's very it has a lot of shoegazy, dreamy kind of soundscapes and elements. He's a great vocalist. He's got a good voice. Listening to it from the other, his previous records and his previous work. Here, you might not be able to hear it because his vocals are really drowned with a lot of effects, and obviously this is typical for a shoegaze, I guess, project. Um, Good effort. The only thing I would say is that maybe it should have spent a little bit more time cooking. I would have loved to hear some drums on some of those songs. It felt like it was missing some drums. But otherwise, good effort, and looking forward to what you will be doing next.
Yeah, I mean, I thought so. Too, with the when it comes to the drumming. Overall, yeah, it sounds promising. Some interesting elements here and there, the guitar tone and everything like that. It's a very short EP. There's not a lot to digest, but it sounds promising.
Yeah, absolutely. Check it out, TRL, a lucid dream that changed my life. All right, I really like this single, dude. I don't know how you feel about it. If you've heard this, "Creeping Death," the common breed. Um, it's such a great. So, Creeping Death also is a great band. Like they do such a good job of mixing death metal with hardcore. And the new two songs that they released sound so good to me, and it's just does a perfect job of mixing death metal elements with hardcore elements, and it's just a fun and great song to listen to. There's an interesting little fact about this that I didn't know. I was wondering who produced this because again, it sounded so good. It's apparently produced by the guitarist from Killswitch Engage, Adam Duckowitz, or I think
Mm,
that's how did he say his last name. But
beats
yeah,
me. I
I
don't
mean,
know.
I knew that he does production work and he produces metal albums and stuff like that, which again speaks to the last topic we talked about in the previous episode on Pilot, in the second episode, which is that musicians don't just make money from touring and their own music. I mean, Killswitch Engage is, my God, one of the most popular metalcore bands in the world, and you can arguably say that they pioneered the genre. And he
Hmm.
does production work on the side. But in any case, I digress. Great song, great sounding song as well, and really, really looking forward to this record, dude.
Yeah, it was a fun listen for me. I really enjoyed it. Awesome guitar riffs, drumming is great, vocals as well. I mean, It's not nothing groundbreaking, but still just a fun listen.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. It's not groundbreaking, but it's just, it's great to listen to. If you're someone who's really into something that sounds, maybe I wouldn't say old school, but like kind of harkens back to old school sounding death metal, but you also like your hardcore elements, then yeah, go check out Creeping Death. Next song here is I guess one of a newer band that I really newer band for me because I've recently discovered them like maybe a year ago. Chamber. I really like this band because they sound, it seems like their influence, and I could be wrong, but it sounds like they have a lot of influence from one of my favorite bands of all time, Converge, and they just released a song that features the singer from Koblai Khan called Devoured. And yeah, you can, it has the song for me has a lot of great elements, like I mentioned, like the kind of converge, like kind of panicky metalcore sounding riffs and music structure with the just straight up Koblai Khan sounding, metalcore, hardcore singing and song as well structure a little bit. Really enjoyed the song, and I'm kind of looking forward to the record that's going to come out from this band.
Yeah, yeah, I got definitely a Converge vibe. Sometimes it reminded me of Dillinger Escape Plan.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, absolutely.
it's I mean it's quite technical. It's quite fast. Very abrasive. It was a cool listen. I mean, but definitely if you're into that type of back then we used to call it mathcore, math metal.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, if that's your vibe, then definitely give this a listen.
yeah, yeah. I guess yeah. If you're into like Norma Jean, if you're into Converge, if you're into the Dillinger Escape Plan, and if you're into like hardcore bands like Koblai Khan, and you should check this out. Oh yeah, this is interesting. So Emma Rosa, Emma Rosa is one of my favorite bands. I really like. Just full disclosure, I really like Emma Rosa. They, the first two records that I've been exposed to when I heard them, it sounds very like emo rock. I guess that's how you describe it. And then they progressively started going down this track where they basically started making pop music, but with instruments. They're a band that makes pop music, and I mean, this is a great. I mean, the original song. I'm talking about the original song. So Emma Rosa did a cover of "I Want to Dance with Somebody" by Whitney Houston, and obviously the original
Hmm.
song is legendary. I was kind of disappointed with the song. They played it pretty safe. It sounds exactly almost like the original song, but with like a guy singing. So I really like Emma Rosa, but I don't know. I mean, I'd rather listen to the original.
Yeah, the original used to grate me when I was a kid, but now I could appreciate it for its nostalgia factor because it does remind me of like my childhood.
Yeah.
But this is just too much, man.
Too much what?
Too much cringe.
Too much cringe. Okay.
I mean,
You're
bring
too
back
you're,
the
you're too
boom.
hardcore, dude. You hate on Whitney Houston. You hate on Sum 41. You're such an elitist. You're such an elitist, Mansoor.
I know. But
But
yeah,
anyways,
there's no difference between this and the original,
yeah,
sonically speaking.
exactly. They
Compared
played
to
it too safe for what it is. Anyways, I don't know if you're into Whitney Houston and if you're someone who wants to listen an interpretation of that, go check it out. But otherwise, I'm probably never going to listen to this again. All right, hardcore music, man. Hardcore is in great shape, man. There's so many great hardcore records and bands releasing, old hardcore bands releasing new records and just new hardcore bands coming up. Anyways, one of the I guess you can consider them a bit legendary. I guess they're pretty well known in the hardcore scene. Incendiary are releasing a new record, and they just released a third single or the second single from this record, "Live Liberty." Great sounding track as usual. Again, this is a Will Putney joint. Um, Straight up great hardcore sounding song as well. If you're into hardcore and if you just want to listen to something heavy, you want to just punch the air and just have a good time. You're gonna like this. And really, I have nothing else to say about this. It's just a straight up great sounding hardcore song.
Yeah, I mean it's very straightforward, as you said, quite catchy. The main riff is cool, but I mean, and I'm not too big on the breakdown, to be honest. It just sounds like every other breakdown. But the main riff is cool. It's a catchy song, so yeah, I mean it's overall cool listen, I'd say.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, again, if you want to explore hardcore music, or if you're a big fan of hardcore music, this is going to be down your alley. Next song here, Pupil Slicer. Such a disgusting name, but
Yeah, I butchered that name earlier. Sorry about that.
yeah. What did you say? Pupil Slicer?
Poopa slice.
Pupil.
Yeah, apologies
All
for
right.
that. Sorry
Pupil
to the
Slicer.
English language. My big apologies to the English language for butchering your beautiful language. Yeah.
Pupil Slicer, otherwise known as Pupil Slicer,
Yeah.
uh, just released a new single called "Momentary Actuality." This is part of a record that's going to come out next week, I think, or it is going to come out next week, called Blossom. But Pupil Slicer is a band that I'm been really enjoying a lot, actually. The first couple of efforts that they've had released, like I think they released an EP or an album, and then they've been releasing singles, sound. And they even so they even have a cover of Converge, Jane Doe, so you can really know they're right there. Like, it just gives you a clear idea of what their influences are. So that's one of the reasons why I really enjoy them as well. um, but they were okay. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, they have that Converge influence, and they sound like that math metal. They have that math metal sound, but I was like, okay, yeah, something, it's a band. I was, I had them, I followed them on Spotify, and I'm just paying attention to what they're doing. But these last couple of songs that they've been releasing are really good. I've been really enjoying them. It seems like they found a combination of that, yes, hardcore kind of, sorry, metalcore Converge sound, with their own flavor of whatever it is, that their own tone and their own sound that they have kind of developed. So it includes, there's a lot of catchy elements there. There's a lot of heavy elements there. And yeah, so if you're someone who wants to listen to a great sounding metalcore band, um, yeah, pay attention to these guys, and hopefully the record that comes out next week will also do a review of that, and hopefully it's going to be good.
Yeah, I don't know. This one didn't resonate well with me. I mean, I only
Oh.
give it one listen, to be honest, but I can't. Oh, but I'll tell you what.
Anytime you say you
I'll,
don't like something, I'm going to bring up the boomer scale, dude.
yeah, by all means, do that.
And if it's a modern band as well, if it's something new and you say you don't like it, I'm just going to bring up the boomer scale.
Yeah, the boomer scale is definitely much needed here. I'll go for not for me, but with Spin again.
Oh, okay.
Uh, but because the vocals were pretty interesting, but the rest of the instrumentation, it didn't really capture my attention.
Okay.
But I'll give it another listen, just to be fair.
Yeah. I mean, you never know. You might like enjoy the record. I mean, it seems like so far the singles that have been coming out, they sound a bit different from each other, um and anyways, great sounding band. Check them out.
Yeah, that's a thing. By the way, for me, sometimes when I listen to a single, it doesn't really appeal to me. But when I listen to the album as a whole, I find the experience quite different from listening to just a single. So maybe
Yeah,
I
exactly.
should listen to the album.
I mean, this is a point that you mentioned with Sleep Token, right? You said, "Oh yeah, this song didn't do it for me. I didn't like it, but I was surprised that they decided to release that song because the other stuff they had sounded interesting." But they've been doing a good job with the singles, in my opinion. I think the last couple of singles that released from this album have been kind of bangers, in my opinion. So definitely looking forward to this. Oh, here we go. Queens of the Stone Age.
Hmm.
So Queens of the Stone Age, legendary. And I in our notes here, I wrote Queens of the Strobe Age.
Yeah, I was laughing so hard. I was like, "Is this a tribute band? Have we come down to this now, reviewing tribute bands.
I mean, well, we're down the line. We're reviewing something weird that you've added. So,
Oh yeah,
so,
definitely.
but anyways, yeah, Queens of the Stone Age, not the Queens of the Strobe Age. Emotions, Sickness. They just
Mhm.
dropped a new single. They announced that they're dropping a new album. What did you think of this, Mansour?
I liked it. It's typical. I'd say Queens of the Stone Age. Very dancey, very catchy. Very enjoyable. You get Josh Homme's signature type of riffing and all of that. Overall, it made me excited about the new album. I can't
Yeah,
wait to hear the rest of the songs. So this is a single that actually resonated well with me in that sense. But yeah, I really like the song. There isn't much to talk about in terms of anything being new about it, but the chorus was quite different. I like how the chorus kind of stands out. It doesn't sound very. It sounds weird, uh, but it works somehow with the main riff and the verse. I feel.
yeah. I mean, overall, it's a good song, but I don't know. I just can't help but feel like Queens of the Stone Age have been kind of playing it safe. They found like a sound and they're just sticking with it constantly. And honestly, if you played this song for me and told me it was from their previous record, Villains, I would have believed you.
True.
Um, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, at the same time, like, do you really want anything else from the Queens of the Stone Age? But at the same time, you kind of want to hear something different. I mean, previously they have been kind of innovating with every record. Like every record that would come out, you'd be like, oh wow, yeah, there are some real bangers on those records. One record that stands out in my mind is Era Vulgaris. Like that record for me is one of my. I mean, I guess Queens of the Stone Age fans don't really like that record, but for me, I really think that record is so good. It has some of the greatest songs that they've ever written.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
and and what's the name of that record? Like Clockwork something.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a fantastic record. That and again, like it just shows you that yeah, how their sound is kind of progressing, and they're doing some really good, um, innovating. Yeah, I guess innovating in terms of what they can do and write.
Hmm.
But I don't know. Maybe I'm
Yeah,
wrong.
this.
Maybe we'll need to listen to the full record and it'll surprise me.
Yeah, I mean, this song I did get a villain's vibe. Like Clockwork was a complete sonic shift from their previous work. It was a very depressing, very kind of like
Dark.
very dark and drab too. Like you can
Yeah.
tell he was really miserable when he wrote that album, Josh
Yeah.
Homme. Uh, but yeah, I'm curious to hear what the rest of this album sounds like,
Yeah.
which is called what in Times New Roman.
In
I
times,
can't
yeah,
get
times
I
in New
can't get
Roman.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh well.
something like that.
Anyways, if you're a fan of the Queens of the Stone Age, do please check it out. All right. Another local release here, another one from Lebanon as well. I guess a melodic death metal band from Lebanon called Nocturna. If you want to look them up on Spotify, please make sure to write Nocturna LB because otherwise they're not going to come up if you don't write that. The song is called Leading the Herd. Um, what did you think, Mansour?
Yeah, nothing out of the ordinary in terms of you know being a melodic death song. Uh, it's pretty good drumming, pretty good guitar work overall. So it was all right. I liked it.
I think sound wise and production wise, I thought it sounded really good. I was actually surprised by that. I was expecting it to, have like that, independent kind of, home produced kind of sound, but it actually sounded really good. Like as a, I'm not sure who produced it or if he did his own mixing and producing or whatever, but again, sounds great. To me, it sounded like it was definitely, like you said, um, uh, a pretty typical melodic death metal song with it sounds like this guy he's influenced a little bit by Lamb of God. There's
Mm.
a bit of a touch of Lamb of God there. But
Yeah.
you know, personally, I'll just let you know where I'm coming from. I'm not the biggest fan of melodic death metal. The only band that I'm a huge fan of that is in this genre is the Black Dahlia Murder. People say that they are a melodic death metal band, but I guess they are. But for me, they are like a top five metal band. But otherwise, I don't really enjoy that genre. So for me, objectively speaking, this is a great sounding song. Obviously, well written, but if you're a big fan of melodic death metal as well, you'll enjoy it. So do check it out though, and let us know what you think.
Definitely.
All right. No, this is not a joke. We are actually talking about a song from a band
Yeah.
called Jazz Sabbath. This is not a typo in the notes here. It's the band is called Jazz Sabbath. For the song Orchid, a
Yeah.
Black Sabbath song. Mansoor, you're the one that added this.
Oh yeah.
Why? Why?
Well, I mean, this is okay. So, Jazz Sabbath is a Black Sabbath cover band that
Oh, you don't say.
covers. Yeah, they cover they cover Sabbath songs though.
No way.
They have jazz renditions of Black Sabbath songs, instrumental
Jazz,
though.
you say? Oh, okay.
Uh,
I wouldn't have.
yes,
Okay, yeah.
Captain Obvious here, right? So
Yeah.
I love Jazz Sabbath. There are no vocals in their music. It's just pure jazz renditions of early Black Sabbath, Aussie era Black Sabbath.
Hmm.
It's a great listen if you want to take maybe a break from metal, but still be like kind
But
of
still be metal.
attached to still be metal.
Yeah.
Not and I love their albums. This is just a short rendition of Orchid, one of the earlier Sabbath tracks. Uh, Great listen. I don't know. What did you think, Mazaj?
I mean, I agree with you. I thought it was a great palate cleanser.
Yeah,
I'm probably never going
definitely.
to listen to this band again. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm probably never going to go back and listen to this again. But it was a great palate cleanser. Like, listening to all this other stuff, and then this comes up. It kind of, recenters you and kind of decompresses your ears a little bit. I did enjoy it. I mean, I did enjoy listening to that a little bit, but uh, I'm not one of those people that are into jazz or actively seeks out uh, jazz music. So yeah, that's
All right.
that for me. All right, next song we have Duff. I mean, could you say his name, please? Because I don't want to butcher it.
Duff McKagan.
McKagan. All right,
Yeah.
Duff McKagan. Uh, okay, so the song is called "This Is the Song." All
Yeah.
right. Um, I had to look up who Duff McKagan is because I wasn't familiar. Apparently, he's the bassist from Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
You're the one that suggested this song. I'll tell you my thoughts quickly on it. I thought it was a pretty depressing song, huh? Like it's pretty sad song. It sounded like a cry for help.
Yes, indeed. You're. That's exactly what the song is for and about because yeah, Duff McKagan, Guns N' Roses bass player and Velvet Revolver, he released this. And he's also a solo artist on the side. He released this EP, this song. This is the song. I believe it's called, and it's about his mental health struggles. He said he wrote this during a panic attack that he was
Jeez,
going through. Uh, but he released this song purposefully at this time because May, or at least in the U.S., is Mental Health Awareness Month, and this song is for to raise awareness for mental health issues. So yeah, I mean, musically, it's if you enjoy ballady acoustic songs from Guns N' Roses like Patience, you might enjoy this as well. But it's an okay song. It's a good song, but since it's for a good cause, I thought why not mention it. But also, Guns N' Roses are touring now, and I believe they will be playing in Dubai. I think that's
Oh,
their first stop on this tour. They're
really? Okay.
playing early June, first of June or something like that. Do look it up. So
Okay.
yeah, so cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's an alright song. It's not for me. I'm not really into this type of rock or music, but yeah, honestly, like it was a sad song to listen to, and I didn't know all that background you just mentioned, and but it just came across in the song for sure.
Yep.
And yeah, if you're, I guess, into Guns N' Roses, if you're a bit of old school soul, then yeah, please check out Duff McKagan. And with that, Mansour, we wrap up our music segment here. Uh,
Woohoo!
that's yeah. I mean, that was a pretty long one, dude.
Mhm.
Um, but we do have an interesting topic, so let's get into Harjat al the main topic. All right, Mansour. AI, big buzzword. Everybody's talking about AI. It's the next big thing now.
Mhm.
It's scary, but at the same time, it is going to make a lot of things easier. And I thought it would be an interesting topic to talk a little bit about how AI, in our, again, in our opinion, just in our humble opinion, as people who, as music lovers and people who love making music and working in music, how it might affect the music industry and how it might affect us personally as well. And the reason why, okay, so it's for me, it kind of started off by me reading news about how big companies like Adobe, for example, are releasing AI tools for their products. So Adobe is the company that obviously makes all these kind of design and creative apps like Illustrator and Photoshop and all of that. And with the advent of like everybody and their dog making AI artwork and AI pictures, they have released as well a tool called Firefly. And you know, honestly, it is kind of scary how good it is. Basically, if you're a designer that has been, who kind of slaved away at learning how to use Photoshop, and you got all those certifications, and you've been learning how to use all these different aspects of it. خلاص, all of that has gone out of the window. Basically now Adobe is implementing like this a tool where you can use command prompts to get things done. So the demo that I saw was like, yeah, I want, it'll be like a picture of a model, and it'll be like, yeah, change the coat color to green and make the background blurry. Oh yeah, change the background, make it into a cityscape or something like that, and it'll do all of that stuff for you very accurately as well. Which basically made me think, all right, us as humans, we need to start thinking about like what are the skills that we have, and the value of the skills that we have, and how we can integrate with AI. The other piece of video that I saw as well that made me think about this is like someone talking about interior design and being an architect, and how like they slave away for 4 years to learn how to design and create these layouts and things like that. But now with AI, it just automatically does all these things for you. And someone replied to me like on Instagram and chat and said like, oh yeah, like now in school, professors have to check if the work that you're making is AI generated or not.
Mhm.
And and from there, it kind of naturally led to music. And have you been paying attention to what's been happening with AI and music recently in the news?
Yeah, I mean, AI is a the big thing now. Everybody talks about it. You go to any gathering, any social setting, the subject will definitely come up. It's all about everybody's talking about things like Chat GPT and those things. I mean, there's now this trend going around where you have these mashups, I'd say, of songs where you have a song in you know let's say I got a song from Soundgarden with the vocals of Kurt Cobain. Everybody's doing these kind of mashups, even with Arabic music. Uh, it's a trending thing now. Uh, but yeah, you can just type in, I want to. I think in Chat GPT, you want, a song in this. Let's say, if you're an angry elitist metalhead, you'd be like, yeah, I want a Metallica song in the maybe in the drumming style of Mike Portnoy or something. You might get that.
Yeah,
Uh, but that's the trending thing now, and there are a lot of concerns about it. But more, will AI be able to mimic certain artists, certain genres, for people, to generate music in that sense? And not only that, will it saturate or oversaturate certain streaming platforms, like Spotify and Apple Music? Will it overshadow the work of, let's say, human generated art? Now,
yeah,
this distinction maybe. Um,
that's a scary thing.
that's the concerning thing. Yeah, absolutely. And record companies now are trying to somehow control it. They're trying to manage it. They're trying to push for, in certain countries, for legislation to regulate these things.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like you mentioned it here, but this is the article that we pulled up on Spotify. Apparently, they've been taking down a lot of AI generated music, and I didn't know this. Apparently, there's an app or a company that basically will let you generate music, AI music, and get royalty from streams. And this is a bit nefarious, but again, this speaks to the idea of where is our place as people who slave away and work hard on writing something with substance, I guess. And AI comes in and just swoop, just like lets people create whatever music they want to create. And will listeners care that they're listening to AI music, or people from or music from real people? That's the real concern there. That's the real concern. Are listeners going to be, are they going to care at any point whether the music that they're listening to is AI generated or generated by humans?
Yeah, I mean, look, the truth is AI will definitely infiltrate every aspect of our lives, and we're still at the cusp of it, I think. Uh, and it's going to be here to stay. So how people use it to make music is going to be, something that we have to keep an eye on.
Yeah,
There are people who are experimenting with it on a creative level. There was an article where, a musician improvised with an AI uh, tool, let's say, and they managed to improvise and come up with a song. So even that part of playing music is going to be affected. Where, typically, of course, you get together with certain people and you improvise, you make music on the spot. But now
yeah,
you can maybe be able to do it with certain AI tools, and that's, I don't know how. I'm kind of on the fence about it, Abdullah.
yeah, yeah. I don't know how I feel about it. Like, so some people have been using AI tools. For example, okay, let's say, مثلا, outside of the music industry, let's say, مثلا, you're a scriptwriter or someone who's writing an article or something, or yeah, you need to write a script for your podcast or whatever. You can use AI to generate like an initial script, and then you'll edit that and make it up to your standard and things like that. But when it comes to music, I wonder, is it okay to kind of, for example, use ChatGPT to, let's say, مثلا, you have a creative block and you're like, oh my god, I cannot come up with lyrics right now. I cannot figure out the lyrics to this song. You know what? Let me go on ChatGPT. Write me lyrics about being sad on a rainy day, and it generates like it generates lyrics for you on that concept, and then you take that and you edit it a little bit. Um, I mean, I don't know. Is that cool? Is that not cool? It's kind of a weird. Yeah, like you said, like I'm on the fence about it. At the end of the day, it's helping you unclog that creative block.
Yeah.
but is it your work? I don't know.
Well, I mean, I don't know if are you into Nick Cave?
No, not really. But yeah, I saw
Well,
you the article that you posted here.
yeah, I mean, Nick Cave is not obviously a metal or rock singer. He was in a punk band a long time ago called The Birthday Party, but no, now he has his own band called Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. But anyways, what happened was a fan
Yeah,
tweeted to him.
he doesn't look so
Uh,
happy about this news as well here, right here.
oh yeah, his music is very dark and depressing. But a fan tweeted to him that he decided to go on ChatGPT and come up with lyrics Nick to a song in the style of Nick Cave. So Nick Cave responded that it's a good saying, and I quote, a grotesque mockery and a travesty, because it really obviously it feels fake. But the lyrics were very much in the vein of Nick Cave. Uh, for
That
those who are not familiar with Nick Cave, if you watch the show Peaky Blinders, that's the main theme song to that show is a Nick Cave song called Red Right Hand, which is a fantastic song. Anyways, so yeah, I mean, you can ask, you can generate lyrics and songs in the style of your favorite artist. So that's the power of AI.
that's funny because in stark contrast to this, Nick Cave hated it, but Oasis, someone, a indie band, I think they're called Breezer or something like that.
Yeah,
They basically created a a new Oasis record. So basically, it's them. They wrote the songs. So it's not the music is not AI generated, but the vocals and I think maybe the lyrics. I don't know. You need to find that out. But the vocals were AI generated to sound like the singer from Oasis,
yeah,
and people actually really enjoyed it. People were like, "Wow, this is basically the Oasis record that we've been looking forward for, that we're hoping for." Because obviously, Oasis is like haven't been releasing any music because of whatever the drama that's been happening between the brothers and things like that. But
yeah,
people were really happy about it, and to the bands like Surprise, it got a lot of traction. And on top of that, it got the approval of the Oasis singer. Like he said it's mega. Again, this just shows you like different people will have different feelings about it, and the thing that scares me about this, the thing that really I think will have a lot of effect on musicians and the music industry is that uh, composers who make money as music composers, their job is probably going to be annihilated.
oh
um
yeah,
like just the same way how in like the Adobe Photoshop, like this plugin or this new like AI tools that they're using is going to eliminate the need to have the skill to use Photoshop, because you're just going to be using command lines to do whatever you need, like, oh yeah, make this t-shirt green and make this person smile and whatever, and it will just do it for you without having to
yeah,
learn how to use Photoshop. And maybe it's not at that stage right now, but AI tools have the tendency to rapidly improve. I'm not even like, oh, 5 years from, no, like literally every month, almost like every 6 months, every 5 months, you're hearing how this AI tool is improving and getting better and better and better. So what's going to happen, I feel like, with people who make their living as music composers for companies that make advertising or films or video game soundtracks and things like that, you know I feel like your job is going to get annihilated, dude. Because you can just, as a company, just go on one, hire or buy an app that just will generate music for you, and it will be as good, if not better, than what a human will do.
yeah. I don't know if it will be completely annihilated. I mean, what these companies like Adobe will probably do will hire musicians maybe to help improve on their AI tools. Just so they could compete with other companies who are doing the same. So in that sense, I can see how musicians will be needed because AI, yeah, it does this thing called recursive self improvement, where it improves itself by itself. But
Yeah,
it's also about how humans, what kind of information and that humans feed it to make it improve. So maybe we'll see that. I don't know. At this stage, we can only uh, predict and conjecture as to what's going to happen in terms of how AI will affect us. But it might create new opportunities in that sense for musicians.
Yeah,
Uh, but yeah, it's definitely going to undermine a lot of these music studios and artists who work for uh, you know different clients in terms of coming up with music for their
yeah,
commercials, for their movies, and etc.
yeah. And then the other area that also concerns me is that, as I, again, as someone who's, just starting putting his foot into the music industry as a producer, as someone who likes to does mixing work and engineering work and stuff like that for clients and people, and musicians and bands and things like that, is that eventually, I mean, already there are plugins and that incorporate AI tools where it will basically, you just, give it the sound, and it will basically mix the track for you, or mix the sound for you, or the track for you, yes, in a way that, in whatever way you want. So there are already plugins manufacturers that will make a plugin for you where you feed it, for example, a guitar track or even like an entire mix, and tell it, you know what, yeah, what do you think how this track should be improved, and it will literally just do everything for you. It will set up the correct EQ. Well, first of all, it will detect what kind of song this is. um, oh, is it a rock song, or is it a pop song? Is it a hip hop song? And then based on that, it will adjust and create an EQ curve that will make the sound pleasant. It will find issues in your mix and fix it by putting in like dynamic EQ and compression and all of that, all these different kind of techniques. Um, it will saturate the track for you correctly. It will implement all the kind of things that will make your track sound pleasant and ready as a master. For now, yes, you still have to go in there and kind of do some adjustment on your own, but it almost comes out perfect. Like from my experience, or from what I've seen, and the main tool I'm talking about here is in a mastering capacity. But in terms of mixing, I haven't found anything yet that does this as good. But I have no doubt in my mind that it will get to the point where you really will not need any more mixing engineers, and you'll just need a plugin that will listen to your track and be like, oh, okay, here's what you need to do, and here's how to fix it.
So it will only get more advanced. So in terms of production, but how will it affect the end product? Will it improve it? Will it not? I mean, who
Yeah.
knows?
Yeah, I mean, so for now, like, I mean, I'm not saying that metal is not untouchable, because if you go look it up, there is AI generated metal music that sounds almost human, and it sounds almost perfect, or it sounds really good and it will only sound better, right? But in terms of mixing metal music, especially if you're talking about extreme stuff, like it still needs that human nuance to in order to kind of make adjustments there, because let's be honest, our music sounds like garbage, and it's
Yeah,
pretty abrasive. And AI tools are probably still like they don't understand all that noise that much. But it will get
yeah.
better. It will get to a point where it can. And 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 we'll be able to improve on it as well. So
Well, the song I heard, that supposedly there was an AI Nirvana song that went viral a few months ago,
mm,
and it was the worst thing I heard in my life. It sounds like it sounds like the zombie corpse of Kurt Cobain sort of crawled out of his grave, and then he went to a studio nearby and like found all the other former Nirvana members coincidentally, and they decided to write a really bad Nirvana song.
yeah.
That it was just awful. Um, but and I hope we don't get more of that, to be honest.
Oh no, we will.
But definitely. But
Yeah,
at the end of the day, imagine if that type of music or content or whatever you want to call it ends up being better or appealing more to people than human generated music. How will it affect
yeah,
the way people consume music, live performance, distribution, all of that? I mean, at this stage, maybe it's too early to tell, but I think these are questions we have to ponder.
yeah. Yeah, I think. Yeah, well, you raise a good point actually. So the thing about live performances is, um, maybe the music will be AI generated or whatever, and people will not care whether it was made by a human, but people will still want to see it being performed live or played live by someone, right? So maybe
Yeah,
there is a place for the touring musician and the musician that plays live and things like that. But the music writing process maybe will change. Maybe um, having like toiling away and trying to be creative to write the next best song is something going to be in the past, where you don't need it. You just need musicians that are able to play live. Yeah,
yeah.
it's a depressing thought.
But you know what? I can imagine somebody like some people will get creative with it. I mean, I don't think it's all doom and gloom. Uh, some musicians and artists out there do embrace technology in a very creative way. I think somebody like Trent Reznor might. I can't speak for him, but I can see somebody like Trent Reznor using AI in a very smart way.
I guess
But
in
there's a thing, Abdullah. Sorry to interrupt, but yeah, I mean AI will also affect the way we consume music in the sense that you'll find a lot of maybe streaming platforms that will use more AI to recommend music based on machine learning, and that's
Isn't
obviously
Spotify
already
already doing that?
they're already doing that, but I feel like it will
Mm.
get more advanced
Oh yeah.
to the point where it's going to be very scary. No, I'm just kidding. But to the point where it's going to be able to maybe predict what you will like.
Okay. So yeah, it's two things actually. I mean, so far I don't know if it's AI or whatever, but the Spotify algorithm has been scary good for me. So a lot of the
Yeah,
bands that we talk about in this podcast, there's a 100%, almost like a 90% chance that I've discovered them because of the Spotify algorithm.
yeah,
So I mean, I'm just from the top of my head, like from the bands that we spoke about today. Chamber was one of those bands that I discovered because Spotify was like, "Hey, check this band." Like a year ago, they were like, "Hey, check this band out. You might like them." Pupil Slicer as well is another band that, like, again, Spotify recommended for me the EP that they released or whatever, and I was like, "Pupil Slicer." They and that's how I discovered them. So the algorithm is so scary good at recommending things that they know that you will enjoy based on your previous listening experience. But what could be troublesome about that is that um, I don't know what that means for maybe independent artists or something like that. Does that mean that the AI will just recommend? Can a big record company pay, or if you're supported by a record company, pay money to have your music be recommended by the AI, and leave things you know that are by independent artists or something like that. um
but yeah, to me, it's a double edged sword. So yes, I want my preferred streaming platform to recommend music that I might enjoy, but at the same time I want to be able to discover new genres, new types of styles of music that I
right.
might enjoy, so I don't want to just be listening to the same stuff that I normally listen to. I need, if, of course, maybe the AI tools will be smart enough to do that, but my concern is I don't want to be just given the same kind of music over and over and over, because that will make the listening experience boring.
Yeah.
Uh, there has to be at some point new genres coming out, but that I think happens naturally. Uh, but in order for people to be exposed to that, they need to be pushed into listening, you know, new music,
Yeah.
new styles.
So yeah, I mean, it's going to be a good tool for music discovery, I guess, and pushing. Maybe it'll help you. Yeah, it'll help you discover artists that are maybe not as big as the other artists that have a big support from their record label. Um, so I guess in conclusion, look, okay, if we have some wrapping thoughts here, let's, from my side, I mean, I would say, like, I mean, AI is a great. tool that will help improve and enhance a lot of things when it when it comes to the music industry. Maybe it'll help you unlock those creative blocks. For me, as someone who does a lot of my own artwork and things like that, having an AI tool to help me develop artwork quickly and efficiently is something that makes me happy. But at the same time, I think if you're a music composer that makes money from composing music for companies and advertisement, update your CV, dude. Update your CV. Get those other skills going.
Maybe consider a career in real estate. you know.
Look at real estate is looking good these days. I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think a lot of jobs are going to get affected by this. And even as a musician, I really think it's going to get to a point where listeners really don't care who makes the music as long as it's good. If you're someone who listens to music, why do you care how it's made? Is the song good? All right, great. I'm going to go listen to that. And this is, you know, obvious from what we're seeing now, like all this AI generated music and how much listens and streams it's getting. So it's pretty scary for me, and it's I'm pretty I'm pretty cautious, and I'm pretty worried about the future of music. But hey, whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, I'm on the fence about it, to be honest. It's hard for me to make any kind of judgment about it, given that it's in its infancy. But I'll say this: at the end of the day, I think people will prefer to hear human generated kind of music, and will want to listen to, if there's AI involved in the creative process, they want to hear something that's done in a very smart and creative way. Uh, of course, we will have to expect a lot of garbage music that's going to be generated from AI and saturate our lives, unfortunately, in one form or the other. But people will always, I feel, uh, gravitate towards uh, human made music, especially when it comes to live performance. You're especially, like, I'm talking in the context of the rock and metal genre. But who knows? Who knows? These are just
Yeah,
predictions based on what we have right now.
yeah. I mean, yeah, you could make an argument that there will always be a place for a live for the live musician.
Yeah.
But that's it for our topic for today, Mansour. I think let's wrap it up. Thanks to everyone for listening. Please remember that you can email us at hate.mail@antishuffle.com. If you're a musician or a band that has a piece of interesting news, or if you have a demo, or if you have something that you want to share with us, please feel free to email, and we'll talk about it in our news segment or in the music review segment. You can always email us or comment on those videos as well. So again, hate.mail@antishuffle.com. And with that, our third episode is a wrap.
Yeah,
Uh,
and guys, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, follow our socials, anti shuffle at anti shuffle pod.
Absolutely. And with that, it's a wrap. I have been Abdullah Mozej. He is Mansour. Say against the shuffle. See you in the next episode.
Goodbye.